this video today, President Trump gets hit with articles of impeachment. The House Oversight Committee wants to subpoena Elon Musk, and the bombshell scandal of U.S. aid continues to explode. We're going to talk about all of this in this video, but let's start with this official announcement from Congressman Al Green. Yes, that's his name, Al Green, announcing articles of impeachment.
I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. I also rise to say that the impeachment movement is going to be a grass-up movement, not a top-down. The people have got to move forward. The people have to demand it. And when the people demand it, it will be done. I did it before. I laid the foundation for impeachment, and it was done. Nobody knows more about it than I. And I know that it's time for us to lay the foundation again.
All right, well, three things. Number one, the articles of impeachment, will they actually make it to a vote? I don't believe so, but I'll tell you what, if President Trump continues to do what he's doing, I don't see what other option they have. I mean, maybe that's what they'll do to try to slow him down. Number two, this type of overreaction from the Democratic Party is going to continue to destroy whatever's left of them. That's how I see this, okay? And number three, President Trump made a smart investment in Elon Musk. That is very clear. The Democratic Party is not prepared. Elon Musk has been exposing the corruption. And Democrats, they're on the losing side of this argument. I don't understand why they're overreacting to someone who's willing to tell Americans what happened to their tax dollars. But guess what? That didn't stop them from looking to subpoena Elon Musk this morning. Let's take a look at that.
Therefore, Mr. Chairman, given his prominence and his importance, I move that the committee subpoena Elon Musk to come before it as a witness at the earliest possible moment. And I so move.
There's been a motion and second. The motion is not debatable.
Mr. Chairman, why don't we want to debate Elon Musk coming in and talking to us about his work and how he's enriched himself for $64 billion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Dr. Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to table the motion.
There's
I
a
second.
motion to table. Is there a
Mr.
second?
Chairman.
Second by
Point of
Mr.
order.
Higgins.
Point of order,
Now,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
motion is not debatable, as many
Point of order, Mr.
are in
Chairman.
favor of tabling. Point of order. State your point.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's outrageous that this committee will not even entertain a motion.
No, you state your
Chairman, that's not a point of order.
Somebody
You know,
who's breaking
I
the law
agree.
and
Point of order.
dismantling our federal
There's
agencies.
been a
and
vote. You're
firing
demagogue.
federal
Out of order.
employees
No,
and
we don't listen to
hacking
demagogues.
data.
Out of
And
order.
you will not
Out of order.
even
Out of order.
entertain a motion
The
to
motion
bring
is
this
order.
in
This is
front of the
demagoguery. This is
oversight
out of order.
committee.
As are in favor of tabling.
Yes,
signify.
let's have order in this
Mr.
country.
Stansberry, you're out of order. You know you're out of order. You know the rules of this committee. There's been a motion.
Mr.
and a
Elon
second to
Musk is
table.
out of
No.
order and dismantling.
He's out of order.
God.
I call the question.
There's been a motion and second. Motion by Dr. Fox, second by Mr. Higgins to table. All those in favor of tabling signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the motion
Mr.
is
Chairman,
tabled.
I ask for a recorded vote.
So that official vote ended up being 19-20, which means it failed in the Oversight Committee. This committee is responsible for investigations, okay? That's why we had to show you that clip. Now, the bottom line here is this is going to continue to be a mistake that the Democratic Party is making because, again, while they have Elon derangement syndrome, they are not actually focused on creating a unified message for their base. And they're not doing anything. They're not offering any solutions. They're only contributing to more problems. And the reason why is because they're getting exposed. All right, so if you guys have been enjoying this video and you want to support this channel, all you have to do is like, share, and subscribe. Or if you want to support us even further, go to the link in the description below. You can shop our merch store or buy us a cup of coffee. So this may come as a shock to you in regards to Democrats versus Elon Musk. CNN seems to call out how embarrassing and humiliating the Democrats are and how they're continuing to make the same mistakes that lost them the election. Hear it for yourself.
Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America. And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
We will win. We will win.
We won't rest. We won't rest.
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need the Democrats need a real leader. Okay, they need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party, and they have been caught completely flat-footed with the entire Trump presidency for the last 2 weeks, and Elon Musk. I said on CNN months ago that Elon Musk would be the most influential advisor to President Trump, and that is proving to be true, whether you like it or not. But Democrats should have had a plan for this. They knew it was coming. We say this every single night.
2025.
We knew it.
Just talked about.
We knew it. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done, from the young vote to tech to a million other things. So Democrats needed to have a plan, and it may be too late.
Well, at this point, it definitely looks like it's too late, but there's a reason why. And I've been saying this ever since the beginning of launching our show. I think when you obsess over somebody like they did with President Trump, you're taking away your attention from things that actually matter, the things that will move the needle. You can't be at all places at one time. You can't put your attention on everything at one time. But when you put all your attention and resources on President Trump, you're forgetting about your own voter base. And that's what's taking place again. It's like they're repeating the same mistake. It's just insanity, of course. But wait till you hear what Bakari Sellers had to say, because we know he's a sympathizer for the Democratic Party and makes 1,000 excuses. But he didn't like this.
Bakari, are you fired up after?
I'm fired up and ready to go. Can't you see it in my face? For me, I'm disappointed in the lack of plan. I'm disappointed in the flat-footedness. I don't. But you know, Josh and I just had this kind of robust conversation about how we view this issue about Israel and Gaza and relitigating November. But I believe going forward, Democrats have to present at least a unified front with all wings of the party, all factions of the party, and actually have some energy that focuses on these bread and butter issues.
Yeah, the unfortunate truth is I don't believe they'll be able to do that. And here's why. They have the same problem that the Republican Party had when Trump came along, okay? It's going to have to take someone who's outside the Democratic Party but can grab the ear of the voter base. And that has to be a candidate who's populist, who speaks their language. This isn't going to cut it. Now, here's what Scott Jennings had to say as well.
I think the highlight reel that you just played, spliced with the highlight reel of all the people trying to run the Democratic National Committee at their organizational meeting, ought to be put together, and we ought to take money from the Republican National Committee and play it on a loop. Ladies and gentlemen, the American left is so far off the rails, they're going to have to get Google Maps to find their way back. They are way gone right now, and it's glorious.
Now, what's really glorious is how much USAID has really exposed the Democratic Party and now is exposing left-wing media organizations. Now, before I get there, I just want to read this from Senator Tom Cotton. Senate Democrats didn't have a single press conference on the border crisis or inflation. They couldn't care less. But ending U.S. taxpayer funding for trans poetry competitions in New Zealand, oh, Democrats are ready to burn it all down. And here's what J.D. Vance said. When Elon and the team started, I was very supportive, but thought that the waste and fraud would top out at $250 billion. The real number will end up much higher. And Congressman Jim Jordan said this, Democrats had no problem with 80,000 IRS agents targeting Americans, but they're terrified DOJ wants to look into government corruption. Right, make that make sense. Which takes us to this breaking news. USAID has provided Politico with $8.2 million in funding since 2019. And you can go look it up yourself on usaspending.gov. Guys, do you understand what that means? That means a federal agency was funneling your tax dollars to a left-wing media organization. We know that Politico is fake news. We know that. They've run a lot of hit pieces. So you mean to tell me if they're doing it, who else has been doing it? Which is why the CEO of Rumble said this, USAID funding corporate media is the biggest scandal of 2025. In essence, the Biden administration was paying the media through USAID to attack the likes of Rumble and X and advocate for censorship and install their own government in the USA by attacking the opposition party. And Brianna Morello said this, remember when I told you our federal government was paying media outlets to spew propaganda? I've been rambling about this for years. Well, it looks like the New York Times, Politico, and BBC all took funding from USAID. I've reached out to all outlets for comment, and of course, they're not going to respond. They're going to deny this, all the way. And one more comment from the CEO of Rumble. Fake news outlets around the world are going belly up. USAID was funding left-wing propaganda and censorship cartels. It wasn't just happening in countries like Macedonia, but apparently they were funding Politico here at home. Elon is doing God's work right now. And that's why there is now speculation about Politico, because they were not able to pay their employees. They missed payroll. Now, we cannot confirm at this point whether or not that is actually connected to USAID, but it is being speculated as such, which is why people published this email from Politico to the employees where it said, Golai and I want to address this morning's payroll issue directly. Due to what we believe to be a technical error, employees did not receive their paychecks as scheduled. We understand the urgency of this matter and sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. And they go on and on about thank you for your patience and understanding. And to just pile on here, Elon Musk responded to this other bombshell by saying this is odd. What is he responding to? Well, Politico dished out 37 subscriptions to the FDA in the amount of $443,000. So you're telling me 37 subscriptions for 1 year cost $443,000? Senator Tom Cotton also just released this. Dems are hysterical. Elon is identifying waste and saving money. Quote, he wasn't elected, but Trump was in a landslide, and Elon is working at the president's direction. The real question, who elected the liberal bureaucrats who turned USAID into a massive slush fund for the far left? That is a great question. But again, that's not going to stop them from screaming at the top of their lungs. Take a look.
This must be a coalition that grows and grows and grows. There can be no bystanders in this fight. It is time that we understand the only thing necessary for wrong to triumph is for right to do nothing, for right to be silent. And so understand this, there are legislators walking through here, but these are the ways we're going to fight.
So while he's screaming, the White House is continuing to release the receipts. This is on their Rapid Response 47 account on X. USAID has been completely unaccountable for decades, run by bureaucrats with agendas who believe they'd answered to nobody. Here are a few more of the ridiculous projects on which they spent your money. $7.9 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. $4.5 million to combat disinformation. $1.5 million for art for inclusion of people with disabilities. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. $6 million to transform digital spaces to reflect feminist Democrat principles. $2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society. $10 million worth of USA-funded meals, which went to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group. $25 million to promote green transportation in the country of Georgia. $16.8 million for separate inclusion group in Vietnam. Guys, I could just keep going, but a couple more here. $20 million for a group related to a key player in the Russiagate impeachment hoax. And the bottom line here is for decades, USA bureaucrats believe they were accountable to no one, but that era is over. President Trump is stopping the waste, fraud, and abuse. However, on the other side of this debate, here is their argument.
USAID saves lives, makes peace, protects our planet, stabilizes our world, does great work. Let's cheer for the men and women of USAID. If Doge wins and our foreign aid is completely shut down, if Elon Musk wins and our foreign assistance completely ends, who will cheer and who will win? The cartels will win, terrorists will win, Russia will win, China will win. This effort is not efficient, it is not sane, it is not respectful, and it does not make America safe.
Now, as a result of this entire scandal being blown up by Elon Musk and Doge, the House Oversight Committee, which I did show you a clip in the beginning of this video, they are now wanting to investigate every dollar. So they summoned the people who are still the leaders of USAID, And Nancy Mace had an interesting question, but they refused to answer.
Today, I'm going to expose some of the initiatives USAID has funded over the years and ask each of you a yes or no question. If you believe these expenditures of American taxpayer dollars put America first. So it'll be yes or no. USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for trannies in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no? Governor?
I have no position.
Of course you don't. Okay, USAID awarded over $750,000 to fund alleviating loneliness among migrant garment workers in India. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
USAID awarded $1.5 million for providing a gender-sensitive response to migration at the Venezuelan border. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
So it seems to me their new answers are Elon Musk is doing something that is unconstitutional. It is a threat to democracy, and they don't have a position on some of these outrageous programs that they've been paying for using your tax dollars. Now, here's Speaker Mike Johnson, because, of course, the media had to ask him about all this. Here's what he said.
No, look, I got to challenge the premise of the question, Chad. You know me. I'm a fierce advocate and defender of Article 1. I mean, look, we are the legislative branch. There's a reason the Founding Fathers put the Congress, the legislative branch, as the first article in the Constitution, and we're going to vigorously defend that. But what's happening right now, I think there's a gross overreaction in the media to what is happening. The executive branch of government in our system has the right to evaluate how executive branch agencies are operating and to ensure that not only the intent of Congress in funding mechanisms, but also the stewardship of precious American taxpayer dollars is being handled well. That's what they're doing by putting a pause on some of these agencies and by evaluating them, by doing these internal audits. That is a long overdue, much welcome development. That's what the American people demand and deserve. And that's what's happening. So we don't see this as a threat to Article 1 at all. We see this as an active, engaged, committed executive branch authority doing what the executive branch should do.
So, of course, that is the common sense reaction to this madness, right? Democratic Party's overreacting, and so is the media, because clearly they've been getting funded from this fraudulent agency. Now, that's not going to stop them from doing what they do best, which is to turn the entire debate into an emotional one. And what I mean by that is CNN is bringing on former USAID employees to pretty much debunk whatever Elon Musk is doing and try to combat this corruption that's being exposed, of course. And so we'll just show you a quick clip. Here it is.
With us now, Dr. Atul Gawande, former head of global health for USAID. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us. So what happens on Friday? Where will these losses, how will these losses be felt?
You have to understand, you cannot pause an airplane in mid-flight and fire the crew, but this oligarch with unchecked power is doing that to the entirety of our foreign assistance worldwide, our life-saving foreign assistance worldwide. We are damaging U.S. capacity, U.S. standing, and also harming lives. These are programs that range from eradicating polio to fighting outbreaks that are occurring right now. Bird flu monitoring is being shut down, is already shut down. It's already closed. And so this is the demolition, unconstitutional demolition of a critical agency. And it is, it's going to cost lives.
Let's say everything that he just mentioned is true. It's going to cost lives. It's a massive disruption. Got it. What's your solution then? Because what Congress has attempted to do before all this went down, they had attempted to audit USAID. And you know what happened the last time someone tried to do that? They were threatened. Now, I don't know if you guys have already seen this clip, but here is Congresswoman Joni Ernst saying on the record that she was threatened by USAID leaders as she planned to audit the agency.
I know, Elon, you have been on USAID. You
Yes,
have really, and so
that's the hornet's nest for sure.
this was another one of my efforts.
Yes,
And this began years ago when we were trying to figure out what they were doing with our American taxpayer dollars that were going to support humanitarian efforts in Ukraine. So I wanted to know exactly how those dollars were being spent, and
right.
not
A
just in.
reasonable request.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I shared this with you earlier, Elon, just privately, but we got all kinds of threats from USAID because I was trying to exercise my oversight capacity in Congress. So
I mean,
they,
that's just shocking. I mean, it's
oh,
how I mean, honestly, it's outrageous that a taxpayer-funded organization would threaten a U.S. senator uh, who is simply trying to figure out if American taxpayer money is being spent correctly and not fraudulently.
yes.
So it has become abundantly clear why they're looking to subpoena Elon Musk. They're looking to introduce articles of impeachment for President Trump, because what else moves do they have except to just bend the knee and submit to what's happening here? This is what America wants. I don't care what you affiliate as, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, progressive, hardcore conservative. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure you want to know what's happening to your tax dollars. Any reasonable person would want that, especially when cost of living is at an all-time high. You want to know where the money's going. But the Democratic Party, they're making the colossal mistake of trying to attack both President Trump and Elon Musk. And while they're busy doing that, you know what they're not doing? Regrouping, finding a unified message, and coming together to support the American people. So this brings me to my question. Do you believe they'll be successful in introducing articles of impeachment in the House when it comes to President Trump? And do you believe Elon Musk will finally come out and hold a press conference and go line by line to show exactly what's happening to taxpayer dollars? Let me know your answers to those questions in the comment section below. Now, there was some other breaking news last night where Pam Bondi has now been confirmed as the Attorney General. This is a huge development because now that she's been confirmed, they can move on to Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK Jr., which we also had updates about them. So if you want to check out that video, all you have to do is click on it because it's coming up right now.